If you're looking at commercial real estate, whether it's office space, retail, or even industrial, you've probably come across the term NNN lease. What this actually means is triple net lease. And for a lot of people, this is where things start to get confusing because the rent you see listed usually isn't the full picture. And depending on how that lease is structured, your actually monthly cost can be significantly higher than what you expected to pay. So let's break down exactly what a triple net lease is, how it works, and what you should be paying attention to before you sign anything. A triple net lease is one of the most widely used lease structures in commercial real estate. At a basic level, it means that in addition to paying base rent, the tenant is also responsible for certain operating expenses tied to the property, like common area maintenance, taxes, and insurance. Now, this is different from what most people are used to in residential leases, where you pay one flat amount and the landlord handles everything behind the scenes. In commercial real estate, it's very common for those additional costs to be passed through directly to the tenant, and that's where the term triple net comes in. The triple net refers to three specific categories of expenses that tenants are responsible for. The first is property taxes. That's where your share of taxes on the building, usually calculated based on your square footage that you occupy or your pro rata share. The second is insurance. This typically covers the structure itself, not your business operations or the contents inside your space. And the third is common area maintenance, also known as CAM. And this is where things can vary quite a bit depending on the property. Maintenance can include things like landscaping, parking lot repairs, roof maintenance, exterior lighting, or other common area upkeep. So instead of the landlord bundling all of these costs into the rent, they're separated out and passed through as a true charge to the tenant. And that's where understanding triple net leases is so important because those costs can fluctuate over time. Let's walk through a quick example because this is usually where it starts to click. Let's say you're looking at a 2,000 square foot retail space. The advertised rent might be something along the lines of $20 per square foot. So at first glance, you're thinking your annual rent will run about $40,000 a year. But then you add in the triple net expense. So let's say that those costs are around $2.50 a square foot. Now you're adding another $5,000 per year. So your actual total cost is at $20 per square foot is actually closer to $22.50 a square foot, all in. And that difference is where a lot of tenants get caught off guard if they're not asking the right questions up front. From the landlord's perspective, triple net leases provide a lot more stability. They're not having to absorb increases in property taxes, rising insurance costs, or unexpected maintenance expenses. Those actual costs are passed through, which makes the investment more predictable over time. And in many cases, that allows landlords to offer a lower base rent compared to other lease structures. For tenants, there are actually some advantages as well. Triple net leases often come with lower base rent, which can make space more accessible up front. They also provide more transparency. You're able to see exactly what you're paying for instead of everything being bundled into one number. And in well-managed properties, those expenses can stay relatively consistent, making it easier to plan long-term. So when you look at triple net leases, it really comes down to understanding both sides. On the pro side, you typically get lower base rents, more transparency, and access to higher quality commercial spaces. But on the flip side, those additional costs can fluctuate. You may have years where expenses increase due to taxes or major repairs. And if you're not clear on how those costs are calculated, it can create confusion pretty quickly. So if you're looking at commercial space and you see the term base rent plus those three little N's, don't just focus on base rent amount. Make sure you understand the full picture, what your cost is actually going to look like. Every property is a little different, and those details can have a big impact on your decision. If you have questions about a specific space or lease structure, drop them in the comments or reach out to us directly. We're always happy to help you break it down.